You're sitting on the couch, scrolling through your phone after a long day. You feel a weight against your knee, or maybe just a presence. You look down, and there they are. Your dog is just staring. Not at the kitchen door where the treats are kept. Not at the leash hanging by the mirror. They are looking directly at you with that soft, unblinking intensity that almost feels like they're trying to read your soul. Most owners see this and think the same thing. They want something. We assume it's a plea for a walk, a hidden hunger, or a simple request for a scratch behind the ears. We treat it as a transaction, a demand for a service. But that's only the surface. In the world of dog psychology, this isn't a request. It's a pulse check. You see, your dog is the only creature on Earth that has evolved to monitor human emotions more closely than their own species. When they stare at you in those quiet, mundane moments, they are checking the weather of your nervous system. They are looking for the subtle micro shifts in your facial muscles, the rhythm of your breathing, and the tension in your shoulders. To them, you aren't just a person sitting in a room, you are the sun around which their entire emotional world orbits. Biologically, this is driven by mirror neurons. When your dog looks at you, they aren't just seeing your mood, they are beginning to feel it. If you are anxious, their heart rate climbs. If you are calm, their cortisol drops. This is co-regulation. They love this moment of staring because it's how they synchronize their internal world with yours. It's how they find their center. But here's where it gets deeper. This isn't just about looking, it's about survival through connection. And there is a specific way they use your absence to feel even closer to you, involving something most owners find messy or annoying. Think about that moment right before you leave the house. You grab your keys, put on your coat, and close the door. Behind that door, your dog is left with a vacuum of silence. Most of us think that once we are gone, our dog simply waits, perhaps sleeping away the boredom until the sound of the car returns. But have you ever come home to find your dog sleeping, not in their expensive orthopedic bed, but directly on top of your discarded hoodie? Or perhaps they've dragged your sneaker into the middle of the living room, not to chew it, but simply to rest their chin on it? Most owners see this and think, my dog is being messy, or they're just bored. Some even see it as a sign of separation anxiety. But that's not what's really happening. This is the Scent-Laden Anchor. To a dog, your scent isn't just a smell, it's a high-definition biological map of your presence. Their olfactory bulb is linked directly to the amygdala, the emotional heart of the brain. When they curl up on your clothes, they are literally bathing their nervous system in the chemical signature of safety. Science tells us that the scent of a familiar human triggers the reward center of a dog's brain, releasing a flood of dopamine. By choosing your scent over their own bed, they are performing an act of self-soothing. They aren't just missing you, they are actively using the biological remnants of your existence to lower their own cortisol levels. You are the architecture of their security. Even when you aren't physically there, you are the tool they use to stay calm in a world that feels too quiet without you. They love your scent because it is the, quote, volume knob they use to turn down the noise of their loneliness. And this leads us to something even more subtle that 98% of owners completely overlook during their busiest hours. A moment where your dog loves you most for doing absolutely nothing at all. It's a quiet Tuesday evening. You're finally sitting down to answer emails, or perhaps you've just opened a book. You aren't playing, you aren't feeding them, and you aren't even looking at them. Suddenly, you feel a soft thud against your calf. Your dog has walked over, leaned their entire body weight against your leg, let out a long, dramatic sigh, and fallen fast asleep. Most owners interpret this as they're bored, or they're just being lazy because I'm not doing anything. We often feel a pang of guilt, thinking we should be tossing a ball or going for a walk. But that's only the surface. In dog psychology, this is known as passive social bonding. In the wild, pack members don't spend 24 hours a day doing things. The highest form of intimacy in the canine world isn't the chase or the play, it's the ability to be still together. When your dog leans on you while you're busy, they are practicing what scientists call oxytocin synchronization. By making physical contact and then relaxing, they are telling their nervous system that the environment is 100% safe because you are calm. They love the version of you that isn't providing a service. They love the, quote, boring you. To them, your stillness is a superpower. It's a signal that the world is at peace. When they sigh and close their eyes against your leg, they are saying, I don't need you to entertain me. I just need to be in your orbit to feel whole. But there's a deeper side to this. If you miss the next signal, the way they look at you when the world gets loud or a stranger enters the room, you might be accidentally breaking their trust without realizing it. Because their love isn't just about comfort, it's about looking to you for the truth. Imagine you're out for a walk, or perhaps a guest has just walked through your front door. The environment changes. It gets louder, more unpredictable. In that split second, your dog doesn't look at the stranger and they don't look at the door. They whip their head around and look at you. Sometimes they might even nudge your hand or step slightly in front of you, blocking your path. Most people see this and think they are being jealous, or they're trying to be the boss and protect me. Some owners even get frustrated thinking it's a sign of a dominant or disobedient dog, but that's not what's really happening. This is a sophisticated psychological move called referential signaling. Your dog is essentially asking a question. They are saying, I don't know how to feel about this. Should I be afraid? Should I be excited? Give me the answer. Because their world is filtered through your emotions, you are their safe base. If you are tense, they see a threat. If you are relaxed, they see a friend. They love this eye contact conversation because it gives them a job, but not the job of a guard. It's the job of a partner. They aren't trying to control you, they are trying to synchronize with you. When you ignore that look or push them away because you're busy talking, you leave them in an emotional vacuum, forced to decide for themselves if the world is dangerous. Science calls this attachment theory. Just like a human toddler looks at their parent when a loud noise happens, your dog looks at you to see if the leader of their system is still okay. You are their filter for reality. To them, the world isn't made of objects and people, it's made of your reactions to them. And this brings us to the final, most important thing. It's the one thing dogs love most, but it's also the hardest for humans to give because it requires us to let go of the one thing we value most: control. We spend so much of our lives telling our dogs what to do. Sit, stay, heel, don't touch that. We treat our relationship like a series of commands, believing that a good dog is one that simply obeys. But there is a hidden desire in your dog's heart that 98% of owners never fulfill: the love of agency. Imagine you're on your daily walk. Usually, you have a set route. You lead, they follow. But what happens if you stop at the corner, loosen the leash, and just wait? What happens if you let them decide whether to go left toward the park or right toward the quiet alleyway? Most owners think, if I let my dog choose, they'll become spoiled or lose respect for me. This is the alpha myth, the idea that every second must be a display of human dominance. But science tells a different story. When you give a dog a choice, what scientists call cognitive enrichment, their brain chemistry shifts. The part of the brain responsible for problem solving and confidence lights up. In a world where they have no control over when they eat, where they sleep, or when they go outside, being given a say in their life is the ultimate emotional gift. They love the moments where you stop being a quote-unquote boss and start being a quote-unquote guide. When you let them sniff that patch of grass for an extra minute, or let them choose the toy for the evening, you are reducing what's known as learned helplessness. You are telling them, your voice matters to me. Giving them agency doesn't make them disobedient, it makes them feel seen. It transforms them from a pet following a script into a partner sharing an experience. Because in the end, it was never about the direction of the walk. It was about the fact that you trusted them enough to let them lead. We often look at our dogs and see a companion, a pet, or a best friend. But when you look closer, past the wagging tails and the begging for treats, you realize that for them, the stakes are so much higher. Everything we've talked about, the silent staring, the nesting in your scent, the leaning against your leg, and the seeking of your gaze, is part of a beautiful, invisible architecture. It is the language of a creature that has decided, through thousands of years of evolution, that you are their version of home. Most people think we own dogs, but in their psychology, ownership doesn't exist. There is only the system. And in their system, you are the regulator. You are the person who turns fear into courage and silence into safety. When they stare at you, they aren't just looking, they are anchoring themselves to your soul. When they lean on you, they aren't being lazy, they are letting their nervous system rest in yours. This was never just behavior. This is a relationship. So next time your dog stares at you while you're busy, or brings your shoe to the couch, or asks you which way to turn on a walk, remember, they aren't just being a dog. They are trying to tell you that they trust you with their entire world. They don't need you to be a perfect trainer, or a dominant alpha, or a provider of the most expensive toys. They just need you to be present. Because to them, you are not just a part of their life, you are the place where their life makes sense. Your dog doesn't want a perfect owner. They want the person who understands that love is found in the things we don't say. And once you see that, you'll never look at them the same way again.